I don't know about you guys, but it has been a whirlwind of the past few days. A lot has happened and a lot has been talked about, and I just want to reflect and process on camera with you guys. As you know, if you've been subscribed to me for a while, I don't ever really take notes. I don't ever really have a script. I just kind of have an inkling of an idea of what I want to talk about, and then just kind of take it from there. That's how I work best. So I want to talk about just, a couple of things. Recently, a HuffPost article came out that was written by Jolie Doggett, who I have had the fortune of knowing or being introduced to about 2 years ago or so, simply because she approached me wanting to do an article about Black booktubers on BookTube. That's kind of redundant, but Black creators on BookTube. And 2 years ago, if you guys have been following my channel, you guys know I was hot. I was heated, I was flaming. There were things that were happening within this community that I was just not vibing with. So I was like, yeah, girl, let's talk about this. This is some bullshit, blah, 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 blah. So I was ready to just spill all the tea and just start coming at people and naming names and doing all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the article came out last week, and I'm in a different place in my life, so I'm not as hot-headed. I'm still very fiery, very passionate, very incensed about the state of many things, but I've also had some time to process a lot of my own pain and a lot of my own concerns, whether it's with people within the community or just situations as a whole. And while I am glad that the 30-year-old me, the 29-year-old me, had the opportunity to vent and express that frustration, because that frustration is still very valid and still very true. I'm glad that 32-year-old me had an opportunity to really contextualize and really understand what it was what it is that I am experiencing and was experiencing at the time. And I think I have a little bit more of a level head to know how to navigate the community a little bit better, but also know how to ask for what I want. And I have set boundaries for myself that allow me to navigate what I feel and know when my energy and my efforts are worth it and when they're not. That came with a lot of trial and error. It came with a lot of mistakes, and it came with a lot of hard conversations and hard decisions. So I don't want anybody to assume that when I made my BookTube Speak Up video, I don't feel that way anymore. I absolutely feel that way, but I'm in a place now where I can articulate that a little bit better, but I can also have a more structured and a more guided conversation. And while I'm still of the mind that people need to be held accountable, and the people who are, and the people who are perpetuating oppressive behavior and are continuing to act in ways that oppress marginalized communities, people of color, Black communities, I feel like, yes, I will call you out, and I will call you to action, and I will call you to the floor, and we will have those conversations. But I am of the mind now that those conversations I'm able to gauge early on whether or not that's something I even want to continue, or whether that's something I want to talk about with somebody on the other side of the aisle, simply because I can't afford to waste my energy anymore. My focus is on empowering those after me, to bring them up to encourage them to be activists for themselves and for the community, encouraging them and reminding them that they are more than their outer appearances, or they are more than what the community says that they are. And I feel like, especially now, I feel a lot more confident in myself and in who I am to state that confidently, to state it assuredly, unwaveringly, that I know who I am. I know what I am able to give. I know my gifts. I know what I am to the community. I know what my self-worth and my confidence in who I am is light years better than where it was 2 years ago and 3 years ago, simply because I have learned to control what I can control. I can control myself. I can control what I think about myself. I can control what I feel about myself. I can control the energy that I allow myself to absorb. And because I know that and I practice that on the daily, I am able to have these conversations, and I am able to recognize when a battle is not mine, and I am able to recognize when I need to come alongside others and fight alongside them or fight for them. And I just feel like I'm in a healthier place. So the backstory to that is the article that you guys witnessed. It was 2 years in the making. Some of those comments that I said were from 2 years ago. Some of them were literally from a month ago. I am so fortunate in that I am able to experience the growth that I've had throughout that article. While you may not recognize where I was 2 years ago, I certainly do. And I am so excited and so grateful to Jolie. But I'm also really excited that I got to share that space with some other amazing Black content creators, some women that some creators that I really, really enjoy, that I look up to, that inspire me, that continue to challenge me and to give me hope that it's not as meek and as morbid as I sometimes allow myself to think it can be. While I do think that there is so much work that needs to be done within the community, while I think that publishers can do a lot better in allowing for more opportunity for those that are not white, while I think that we as a community can do better by not taking white booktubers' words as gospel, while I think that there are so many things that we can take into consideration or process or say is great or is not great or whatever, as much as we can, put parameters around everything, I really think that it's important to remember that this community, it relies on the pulse of the people that are within it. And I really do think that that article did more than I think those who have read it and are reading it and will read it can even fathom, simply because there were experiences that were a part of the birth of that article. There was someone's fiery passion. There was someone's pain. There was my pain, my anger, my disconnect from the community, my loss. There was so much that went into that piece that when I read it, it's more than just, I'm absorbing more than what I just have consumed from the page. I'm absorbing everyone's experiences I'm absorbing the 2+ years work that went into that piece. I'm absorbing the growth that I had to endure from the first time Jolie contacted me and asked me these questions that were, quite frankly, some of the most painful questions that I've had to process, because I was in a very tender and very vulnerable place. And I think about where I am now. I think about Naya and where she was when those questions were being asked. I think about India. I think about so many different people. Jolie, when she was writing, you know, everything down. I think about Kashan and where she was when, you know, she was sharing her answers, and where she was spiritually, mentally, emotionally. The experiences, the individual experiences, the collective experiences, the experiences of the interviewees, the experiences of the interviewers, the experiences of you guys who are reading and receiving the words that we have put to paper or put, you know, made public. It's just all so overwhelming for me, simply because I'm absorbing multiple experiences. I'm thinking about past Christina and how she would feel knowing that her words are being absorbed. The words that she divulged when she was in a very, very vulnerable place. I think about the people who are reading the article now, who are feeling those exact emotions and those exact feelings, and who were in that same space that I was 2 years ago when I initially started the interview. I think about all of that, and it's because, and I need you guys to understand this, this goes deeper for me than just having access to opportunity within this community. This runs deeper for me than just being a face on BookTube, because when I turn this camera off, the exact same things that I am communicating to you right now don't stop just because you no longer see me. I walk out the door every single day, and I have to navigate the world through a lens that a majority of people will never be able to understand. I don't get to shut off the camera and put this experience to rest for however long I deem fit. And I just need people to understand, and that's what I was trying to say, and I'm still trying to say in my BookTube Speak Up video. You can't separate books and reality. You can't do it. Books are inherently political. The written word is inherently an expression of one's innermost self, whether it's fantastical or not, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. There is an extension of real life that breathes through each page of someone's story. So for people to claim that the book community, I come to the book community to escape the real world, I mean, yeah, but a lot of the stories that you consume still reflect a lot of the norms of the real world, whether it's set in space or whether it's set in, you know, a fantastical world of whatever. And I just think that for anyone to be able to consume a book and not recognize that because these are human stories, whether they're fact or fiction, there is always going to be an air of humanity attached to these stories. And that air of humanity will impact readers. My everyday life will infiltrate what I'm reading, regardless of what it is that I'm reading, regardless of genre. We can't help but put ourselves in the positions of the stories and the characters that we're consuming, because that is how we connect. So I really do think that this goes beyond just having access to opportunity, that this goes beyond just the most basic or the most mundane, the most surface of discussions that are happening within this community. I think that we need to dig deeper, and I think that's where I am in a lot of this now. I am ready to dive deeper, and I'm ready to have those conversations and really look at this community and look at the world of publishing and just books as a whole, and really just dive into the essence of what connects us and what makes us human, and what stories do for everyone. Stories connect us. They connect us and they keep us connected. So it is of utmost importance that I fight for representation within stories, because whether or not we actively are aware or we actively acknowledge it, stories, seeing ourselves reflected in something, seeing our stories being told, seeing a means of recognition, it inherently makes our existence valued. It inherently gives us value. It gives us permission to be our best and our freest selves. And I feel like I'm getting extremely philosophical, so I'm probably going to stop now, but it runs deeper for me. And that's why I was so hurt 2-3 years ago when I filmed that video. And that's why I'm so passionate now. And that's why I don't stay quiet when I see something. That's why I encourage my friends and those who come to me to just stay the path, but I also give you permission to just breathe and to just really, really have grace with yourself, but also hold yourself and others accountable to what they're putting out into the world. So that's my whole spiel on the article that just came out. It's, like I said, really, really like grandiose and really outward in. But that's where I've been mentally, emotionally, spiritually since the article came out. Simply because I'm at that point where I just want the best for everybody. I really, really do. And I am all about representation, diversity, and inclusion. I don't want somebody to have to give up their seat to give someone else a seat. I want us to make more seats. That's really where I am in my life. And that's where I am on my journey through navigating all of this. And I hope that makes sense. And if you guys have any questions or want to have a conversation, I am here. My DMs are open. My email is open. Comment down below. I'll see it. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for those of you that have joined my YouTube channel family. I am grateful. I'm excited. And I have been having the strength and the excitement and the desire to film more, hence this video. So I'll see you guys in my next one, okay? Thanks so much for watching.